Welcome everybody to week 6 fantasy showdown. Tonight's episode is going to be a little different. Here at Ballers and Briefs, we preach get different every week, and we had to get different this week with B Kill and DFS Phil out in Florida holding it down through Hurricane Milton. So if any of you guys are out here watching from Florida, please be safe. Our hearts and prayers go out to you guys and anyone that was affected a couple weeks ago through Hurricane Helene. We are also praying and hope you guys are doing well as well. So I guess without further ado, I guess we'll just hop in straight into the action. Smells, I will hop in. I will grab your question like soon as I can, because trying to get through a little bit first, and then I'll answer your question, I promise. So obviously tomorrow night's game is a big NFC West Slugfest with the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. So the 12th man will be out in full effect, and it's going to be a good game to say the least. So kind of get a little bit wrapped up for week 5, some of the crazy stuff that happened this week. As everybody knows, Robert Saleh out of there after a 2-3 start, when a lot of the football pundits, NFL guys were like, oh yeah, the Jets are going to be that team. They're going to be one of the Super Bowl darlings this season, you know. So Robert Saleh I don't think Robert Saleh had it. I really don't. I never thought he was going to be a great head coach. And then when you bring in someone that's kind of a combustible element that is Aaron Rodgers, you kind of have to just deal with that in such a fashion that you're not really sure how it needs to go. Because Aaron Rodgers he's that guy that's kind of bigger than life, and Aaron Rodgers runs things. I mean, today I heard that he's pretty disheartened that he's being accused of, oh, this was his fault. He's the one that made the call to get Saleh fired and hauled out of the building when he didn't know it was coming. So it's I wish the best for Robert Saleh. I really do. I hope wherever he goes, he finds success. Whether it's if he goes back to San Francisco and runs that defense, which would be great for him, I think. But some guys that are just defensive coordinators in general, just don't make great head coaches. And I felt like this team was different than the Zach Wilson-led team that he took over, but the expectations were so much higher, and there was no excuse that, oh, we had to hurt Aaron Rodgers anymore. I don't know if week 5 was when it should have happened. Obviously, you went to London. You get beat by arguably one of the best teams in the NFL right now, the Vikings, who are 5-0. I don't know if that was the right time to cut him, but I think this is something that a lot of people saw coming, and they saw it coming. And I felt like the writing was on the wall from the beginning. If they didn't speed off to a big start, then he was gone. And I don't think they're going to get rid of Rodgers. So who's going to be the scapegoat? Robert Saleh is 100% the scapegoat here. Now, kind of shifting to actual player news. Jabril Peppers, man. I don't know if I got any Patriots fans out here, but or Michigan fans. I mean, he was a Michigan man. He was arrested on assault charges, battery assault, dangerous weapon, strangulation, and possession of cocaine. This is on Saturday before the game last Sunday. So he's been basically put on leave, you know. So it's been a rough time for the Patriots as a whole, because the team is in total flux with not really knowing what's going on, who their quarterback's going to be. Like this week, they're trotting out Drake May, everyone did say he'd probably come out week 5. It's week 6. Throw him to the meat grinder that is my Houston Texans. And the defense, it could be magic for him. We could end up just sleeping on him, and he comes out and just balls out. But I hope the best for Drake May for sure. But Jabril Peppers, Captain Guardians cap, literally pun intended. Him out here, the guy out here that's running around with the Guardian cap on out here is on the side doing shit he has no business doing, like putting a black eye literally on himself and the Patriots organization, which we all know holds themselves to a standard of which that the NFL has always called the Patriot way. Now, maybe without Bill Belichick, it's a little bit different, but I feel like Robert Kraft and even Gerard Mayo still should hold the team to a better standard than what they are. And Jabril Peppers is one of their stars, and he's out here making an ass of himself. So, yeah, it's rough. So, hopefully he gets what he needs in the time away, and we see that he just becomes a better human, I guess. And then kind of talking about my Texans, transition into my Texans, we had to put Nico Collins on the injured reserve this week. He'll be gone for at least 4 games. It hurts. He was the league's leading receiver. I knew when he hit that big long pass, 67 yards over the weekend, he kind of pulled up. You could see it. He kind of pulled up a little lame, and then he went to the locker room and never came back. It killed me. It killed me because he come out balling and I don't have him in season long fantasy. I know a lot of people that do. It's the first year I've never had a Texans player on my team. But I had him in my Millie Maker in DFS, and I was like, oh shit, he's gonna blow the doors off, and I'm about to hit high, hit big. And when he went out, I was like, my heart just sunk to the floor, because I was like, okay, well, there goes a set of points that I'm not gonna make up for the rest of the day. So, but if you guys have Nico Collins, and you might have picked up another Texans wide receiver, hopefully you might have through the year drafted Tank Dell, maybe all the Stephon Diggs owners right now. I know you guys are just chomping at the bit, knowing that he's going to probably take over number 1 role. But I think for the ones of us that thought a lot of Tank Dell, it's Tank Dell time now. I'm literally thinking that it's going to be that time. I said before at the beginning of the season, I'm still going to say it. CJ, when last year, looked for Tank Dell like a fish looks for water. And when Nico was in and out, Tank was always number 1. Obviously now with Stephon Diggs, it's going to be a little different, but I think this puts a rocket on Tank Dell's back. And then if you're looking for somebody that can pop off, and you need some help and you're in a deeper league, look towards Xavier Hutchinson, because obviously he's going to take over the snap counts. The snaps, probably not all the snaps that Nico leaves off the table, but he's going to take a lot of them, take a lot of that same role. And this could be X time. So just be on the lookout for that. And kind of continuing down the line here, another number 12, Aiden O'Connell. For all the Raiders fans out there, Minshew time is over. AP says, all right, let's just run it with Aiden O'Connell. With everything that's going on in that organization right now, with the Devontae Adams issues, let's just get back to the basics of the guy that can just what he do. He did great things at the end of the season last season, and let's just see if he can lead us somewhere. So that puts the ball back in Jacoby Myers' court. So if you have some Jacoby Myers, I do know that he's questionable right now. I have him myself in all my leagues, actually. So get you some Jacoby Myers love, and look for Aiden O'Connell to boost him up. Now, last but not least, the guy who's always fucking open, according to his writing on his eye black, George Pickens. And George, I see your question about George Pickens. I'll answer that in a minute. So Yeah, he's being investigated by the NFL due to the eye black saying that he's always fucking open, and obviously you might be always open, George, and you're a Georgia Bulldog for crying out loud, and I'm a big Georgia fan. But dude, you got to catch the damn ball if you're open. He's not catching it, and of course, I mean, I don't know if that's a Justin Fields problem. I don't know if that's a George Pickens problem, but if you're open, you got to catch the ball. And he's not, he wasn't doing a lot of that the other night against the Cowboys. So don't do dumb shit and write shit on your eye black if you can't back it up, dude. So there's that. So I guess we could just kind of keep on moving along. Unless anybody's got actual news questions, we can just hop into what I got next up. That's a little bit of the Millie Maker DFS action. So some stuff we talked about on Saturday is we wanted exposure to the Baltimore game with Cincinnati because we all said that this game could play high, but it also could play low. And if you guys look here, this is a stat, a game stack, but it's a reverse game stack here. So Lamar Jackson running the quarterback, and then you got two stacked receivers on Cincinnati, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. So the ownership levels here in this game are, I would say, a little bit higher than normal what we've seen recently in fantasy milli winners, because you got 1, 2, 3, 4 actual players that are double digit ownership. I mean, our chalk problem here is I wouldn't say chalk problem, but all the times people talk about, oh, we don't eat chalk. Well, the time it was time to eat good chalk, that's Tucker Kraft. I mean, I swear the optimizer must have given me like 100% of Tucker Kraft in the in all my lineups. I had to limit him myself because I just felt like he was getting too much, and I was getting 100% on him. So like I had him in like every lineup. So I had to take him out a little bit myself. But I think the thing about my thoughts with that is I actually did have Tucker Kraft in my millie. So it was just chalk that you had to eat. You had to eat that chalk with Tucker Kraft this week. And then if you guys can see that he did bring it back. He did run that Broncos defense, which was obviously hellaciously 35% owned. And then we didn't really like Chicago and Carolina game that much. So I don't know if we would have really got to DeAndre Swift. We did say that we like Chuba Hubbard a lot, though, because Chuba's been getting all the love. So, I mean, I feel like the Andy Dalton love is kind of fizzled out some. And so they needed to go where the ball could go, and that was Chuba Hubbard. So, and then, of course, Terry McLaurin, he was okay. He wasn't getting a ton of points. I mean, 17 is not really super duper, but I mean, if you look at the value, we always say that you need to get 4x value from your guys. Jamar Chase there with 44 points, that's over 5 times his value, right? And then Tucker Kraft gets almost 7.5 times his value. And look down here at Darius Slayton, 4.6% owned, 3,900, and he gets obviously what's that, almost 15x value. So that's what I'm saying. Like with like Phil preaches, you got to get value out of your guys. But what's even more crazy about this lineup is it's only half a point from second, and then second was 3 guys tied. So the guy that took home $1 million, only 1/2 a point. So keep that in mind, guys, that when you're doing DFS lineup, especially if you're mass entering, you got to get different. You got to take these guys that are low in ownership and that you think are going to go off or have a possibility of going off. Don't go out here and just add a bunch of stars in. Don't fill your lineup full of chalk. Make it, if you're going to put chalk in your lineup, make sure it's good chalk. So keep that in mind. So I guess just keep on moving. Let's do, since I guess I can answer a couple of these questions in a little bit. So just keep that those coming, guys, and then I will hop in and answer those questions in just a little bit. Search and Kill, I got you. George, I got you. And Smells, I got you too. Okay, so for tomorrow's game, I mean, this game seems to be a little bit higher of a total than what I expected it to be. It's 49.5 as it stands right now. They're still giving San Francisco a lot of points, like 26.5 points. They're 3.5 point favorite on the road in Seattle. Seattle's coming off that weird game that they had last week. It seems to me that Vegas is looking at this. Okay, well, Seattle is on kind of the snide, if you will, because they didn't play the greatest last week, and that they could be regressing, and it's now going to be that time where what we said before, guys just starting to stop liking to tackle, and it's going to be this is just one of those weird games. It's going to be one of those primetime games that we always talk about, that play is going to play weird. And for some reason, what's weird is, especially in DFS, San Francisco, when they play on these primetime games on their own, they're either like top end or at the bottom. And Seattle just kind of fizzles in the middle. Now, maybe this is a totally different year with no Pete Carroll, and Geno Smith popping off like in arguably what has been his best season as a Seahawk. But I think the key to this game is to pay attention to players that aren't going to be that you haven't seen yet, right? So like I said, like last week, how Seattle got beat by the Giants. We didn't think Seattle was going to get beat by the Giants. The thing was, how much is the Seahawks going to beat the Giants? And then the 49ers get beat by the Cardinals, right? So this is like two teams that are coming off losses and teams that we expected to win. And you have duds. You had duds in those games. So you had guys you thought were going to be stars, like this bunch of chalkboard guys right here, right? Purdy, Debo didn't even show up. Jordan Mason didn't show up. And then Geno had about 284 yards, but then you didn't see really no Kenny Walker had like 5 carries for 19 yards. And then DK had 4 receptions for 55 yards. So I feel like that, like Vegas sees this as, okay, these games, this has got to be a get right for both of these teams. And that's why the scoring is going to be more. And hopefully that San Francisco does pop off. Now, with that being said, the ownership projections are already coming in, and it seems like everybody's going to put Brock Purdy in their lineup. I'm not too happy with that, because if everybody's rushing to put Purdy in the lineup and Geno in the lineup, this game could be just a dud at the end. Like, it could be a kicker's game. And of course, the injury report does say, obviously, that the 49ers are going to be without Jordan Elliott, their defensive tackle. Demetrius Flanagan fouls their linebacker. Hufanga's still out. And Jake Moody, their kicker, got hurt. So they're bringing in another kicker, I believe. Matthew Wright, I think, is who they're bringing in. Charvarius Ward is questionable with a knee injury. And then for the Seahawks, Julian Love, their safety, is questionable. Boye Mafe is questionable. Their linebacker. Byron Murphy, their first-round draft pick, defensive tackle, is out with a hamstring. Nwosu, their linebacker, is out with a thigh injury. And then Reek Woolen, their corner, is out with an ankle injury. So maybe that's what they're seeing. Maybe that's why Vegas sees, okay, this game could just be a score fest. Now, I wasn't happy. I was totally fine fading Brandon Ayuk last week. And I'm not too sure that I could get around not fading him this week. Like maybe if you're doing this 20 max or 200 150 max, you're gonna have to put him in. And if you're in season long and he's on your team and you don't have somebody better, you're gonna have to play him. But a lot of people are like, oh well, you're stupid for starting Juwan Jennings because they had Debo and Kittle and Ayuk all healthy. But at the same time, it's really not been. It's not been the best time for this offense in general. Like I feel like this offense is just kind of at a loss without Christian McCaffrey, and everybody else in the NFL is kind of doing the same exact kind of version of the offense that we've seen for years with them, right? I mean, obviously the Saints kind of run a version of this offense. The anybody that's coached with the Shanahans, like McVay's is a subset of this offense. So that's all the offensive running are going to running backs, and everybody's jumping on the Jordan Mason train, and he kind of shit the bed last week. So I think here I do, Connor, I see your question about Juwan Jennings. I don't dislike him at all, but I don't really know if you have somebody better, someone that's more available that could be better than that. Obviously, you might want to play them. I mean, Ayuk did have more targets. Kittle had more targets. Jennings had 4 targets. He went from double-digit targets to 4. Ayuk had 12. Kittle had 12. Debo had 3. So at this point, Jennings could be he could be boom or bust. I don't know in this game. Obviously, if I'm playing DFS, hell yeah, I want me some Juwan Jennings because he's only 4,000 and his ownership is 30%. Obviously, in a showdown, you're going to have higher, but he's cheaper. He's 550. He's actually 4,400 cheaper than Brandon Ayuk, and the value's still about the same because he's on the field almost as much. And then Debo, everybody's kind of sleeping on Debo because he hadn't really done shit. And so it could be at the time that you need to get some Debo love, and not have to worry about it. But somebody that I love in this game, and I think that I'm probably going to lock in my lineups tomorrow, is George Kittle. Coming off of 12 targets, and he tears up the Seahawks' ass. Like he just seems to. The Seahawks are terrible against the tight end. And if Julian Love is banged up and they don't have much help in the middle in the linebacker spot, because they have 3 banged up linebackers, who runs those routes? George Kittle. And George Kittle always shows his ass on primetime games. Thursday nights, it's always, you know what I'm saying? So I'd make sure I'd get him some lineups tomorrow. And if you have him in season long, you got to play him. So I do feel like Jordan Mason is still overpriced. 10,000. That's just so expensive, but I think you probably have to play him because of what Tyrone Tracy did to the Seahawks last week. They're mid. They're really mid against the run. So, and then on the other flip side, I think Kenny Walker is a good play too, because the 49ers are not the same. I mean, they're really not. And like I said, with Jordan Mason, like you got to run him because no Byron Murphy, the defensive tackle. So what are you going to do? Run the ball straight up the guts. And then Jordan Mason, same issues, right? So I feel like he's going to get the attempts. I feel like Shanahan's going to try to get this team back to where they need to be. I mean, this division is like in flux, right? Because I mean, the division, San Francisco is 0-2 in the division and they need a get right game. But technically, Arizona's 2-3. They're 2-3. The Rams are 1-4. They're really only one game back of Seattle. And if they beat Seattle, they'll be tied with the same record. Obviously, the division record will be a little bit different because Seattle hasn't played in the division yet. So they'll be 1-1 in the division, but San Francisco will hold the tiebreaker so far. So I think that's a good idea. But I like JSN too. I like JSN. I know we call him quite often. He's getting quite a bit of love tomorrow. And so I think that's a good play. His target share has kind of come and gone. Last week, he only had 7 targets. He had 31 yards, but he had a touchdown. So that was his first touchdown of the season. So he could get in the end zone tomorrow and be one of those guys that helps you out. I mean, he's had 2 targets week 1, 16 targets, 3, 12, 7. So, I mean, numbers are poultry. I mean, he could either be going back down or this could be another 10 or 12 target game for him. So I like JSN, and that kind of can help lead to this question here that Jordan. A number one wide receiver, George Pickens, is getting the same amount of targets as a number 3. And like I said, I don't know if that's a Justin Fields effect, or if that's a George Pickens effect, or if that's an Artie Smith effect. But it seems like they're trying to get JSN the ball, even though he's a number 3, because all the coverage is shifting to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. So I like JSN. I think if I had to choose and I had them both on my team, I think I'd trot JSN out, especially because I think his quarterback play for passing is better. Obviously, Justin Fields has kind of done all these things he has because he's a running threat, right? His passing isn't that great. But I think Geno Smith has been dealing, and he's kind of got all this kind of stuff that the San Francisco 49ers have. Oh, we've got so many weapons. Well, Seattle has a bunch of weapons too. So don't sleep on JSN. I like JSN personally over Pickens. So let me hop in. Let me answer some of these little questions here. Smells. Let me see. Should I trade Breece Hall and Deontay for Amon-Ra? Okay, Smells, if you're still here, I need to see the rest of your lineup because I can't answer that question because I can't answer that question without seeing the rest of what you got, because Breece Hall is the number one running back, even though he's just kind of fizzled out right now. And I don't know if that's going to help with no Robert Saleh now. So if you can let me know what the rest of your lineup looks like, I can answer that question a little bit better. Search. Can you send me the rest of your lineup too, so that I can see it? What's up, War Eagle? Burrow or Daniels this week? Now it's a little early. It's a little early in the week. You guys know we go over the full slate on Saturday, but I'll give you my 2 cents on it right now. I'll give you my 2 cents on it right now by myself. Come back and bring the same question. If you guys bring all these same questions back on Saturday, I promise you get a little bit better opinion when there's 3 of us together. I mean, obviously I'm 5-0 in the league right now, but the thing about this week is Cincinnati plays on Monday, right? Play on Monday against the Giants. I personally have to run Daniels. Now, with that being said, the team total tells us a lot. Okay, the team this week, Washington is playing Baltimore, and Baltimore is the 29 team total, and Washington is 22.5. And then the Bengals are playing the Giants. Bengals are 25 3/4, and the Giants are 22. And so this shit could go. The game total for the Washington and Baltimore is the second highest game total on the whole slate. I personally, I like Daniels for the simple fact of the matter is he's a run threat all the time. And Baltimore is like 25th against the quarterback. On the other side, we saw what the Giants just kind of did, kind of put Brock Purdy to sleep. I mean, not the Giants, the Arizona did, and the Giants put Geno kind of to sleep a little bit. So they're kind of mid. I like Jaden Daniels just because he runs, but Phil and Brad might have a different take. I like Jaden Daniels. I would run Jaden Daniels out. Brad has Joe Burrow and might have a different take. Now, if you have a stack, if you could stack one of those guys with somebody, I can't remember because I know you showed us your lineup on Saturday, I think. So, but if you could let me know who else, if you have a stack, that might be better. But I like the game total for Washington and Baltimore better. So Connor says Christian Kirk, Rico, or Juwan Jennings. I think you gotta, I hate to say this, but I think you probably gotta go Kirk because of the targets. I feel like the targets are starting to creep up with Christian Kirk, where they're not with Juwan Jennings. They're kind of going down. So because Kirk had 4, 3, 10, 12, and then he had 4 again with Indianapolis. The thing about it is he went for 88 yards, even only on 4 targets. So the problem with that being is that Jacksonville is playing Chicago. Kirk only has to fight one guy for targets, and that's BTJ. I feel like Juwan Jennings has to fight 3 other guys right now, especially when they're full frontal right now. I'm not really buying the Rico Dowdle hype. Now that game is the highest total on the slate. But I just don't know, man. I don't trust the Dallas running back. I don't trust the Dallas backfield. in general, because the Lions are better against the run than they are against the pass. So that's what I'm saying. So I feel like this could go the other way. I feel like that the Lions are going to get out in front and the Cowboys got to play catch up. So out of these three, I like Kirk better. Now, like I said, if you bring this same question back on Saturday, it might be a total different answer from the other two guys. But right now, as it sits, I think you got to go Kirk over these two. Okay, Smiles, let me see. Shaw White, Breece Hall. Okay, so for your, should you trade Breece Hall and Deontay for St. Brown? Jordan Love, Neighbors, BTJ, McBride. Dude, man, I like your lineup. I like Rashad White, but you can't give up the potential that Breece Hall offers for that, because you have Malik Neighbors, who obviously is coming off concussions, but he's going to come back. Dude's been like balling out. Brian Thomas Jr. They strapped a rocket to him this week. McBride is eating. Tank Dell is about to start eating because no Nico. DK, I wouldn't chase that. I wouldn't chase that. Now, if someone's trying to get up off of Amon-Ra, I would be like, and you have Chase, bruh. Like, what the hell? Yeah, I would not get out from under Breece Hall for that. Like, your wide receivers are stacked. If someone, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't, man. Like, that's crazy. Like, your lineup is set. You got Jordan Love, you got CJ. Nah, I wouldn't at all. Now, the Kyle Pitt, the key here is Kyle Pitts is probably my least favorite player on your that's Chase Brown. Okay, I thought you said, my bad. I thought it was Jamar Chase. Yeah, so yeah, you don't want to get rid of Breece because Chase Brown going to be up and down. Rashad White, Bucky Irving is there. You kind of all in the same. You're not upgrading at running back because Tony Pollard, all these guys that you got have a guy that's behind him that cuts into their carries. So I wouldn't get rid of Breece Hall to take on Amon-Ra St. Brown. And you don't have like a Jared Goff or anybody? No, absolutely not. And then you have Tank Bigsby as well. No, nope. I would not go and get Amon-Ra unless somebody like really wants Tank Bigsby. I might shop Tank Bigsby and Tony Pollard for him just because. But other than that, no. And I bet this looks like a 10-man league. Oh, you have Jonathan Brooks too? Hell, okay. Package you some running backs like maybe like Pollard, like a Pollard, and I would come off of Rashad White and Pollard before I'd come off of Breece Hall, because you got people coming up, like, because you got Bigsby and Brooks who are kind of going to come back in. I think they're going to take over. Bigsby's good, or shop Bigsby. Sell high on Bigsby right now. That's what I would do. Yeah, sell high on Bigsby because you got Breece, you got Rashad White, and you're bringing in Amon-Ra, but I don't think that you really need him. Like, honest to God, don't think you need Amon-Ra St. Brown because you got the league, the second, I believe he's the second highest wide receiver, fourth highest now because he didn't play last week. Malik Neighbors, 91.6 points, dude. No way. And Nico's out for 4 weeks, so all he's going to do is go back up the list. So you're not getting anything out of this. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown he's 20th on the list. Like, he's got 68.5 total points. Nope. I don't think so. If you want to, shop Bigsby for him, but other than that, I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't waste your time. Or maybe Jonathan Brooks, because you might could sell high on that. Package Brooks and Bigsby, but I don't know, man. Oh yeah, War Eagle. I think you got to play that. I think you got to stack that Daniels and Scary Terry stack. And you did pick up BTJ. Yeah, I told you. We told you that BTJ was gonna eat. So I think you gotta run that stack out, dude. That makes the most sense because you got extra scoring in this game. They're gonna have to score. They're gonna have to throw the ball to beat um the Ravens. I don't know if the Bengals are gonna have to toss it that much and Joe Burrow is gonna score that much. So, but like I said, bring that same question back on Saturday. Come back on Saturday, bring that same question back, and then I'll say what I said, and we'll see what the boys say. But I think right now, I think Jaden Daniels is you got to push the gas pedal, man, until he lets you down. Search. So back to your question was like, should I flex Pickens or Deontay? Dak, Saquon, Monty, London, Amon Ra. Then you got a flex. Eagles. Defense. Young Waku. Cade Otton. Been on my waiver wire pickup, dog. Targets are there. Mark Andrews, Tank Dell, D Hop, DJ, Pickens, Javante, and Pacheco. They did say Pacheco might come back on the 20th. Let's keep that shit in mind. Let's see. Panthers. I don't like Pickens because that game is going to be slow as shit. It's a 36.5 over under. That game's going to be slow. I feel like it's going to be like a Najee Harris and fucking Pat Fryermuth game. It's not going to be George Pickens. It's going to probably be Justin Fields running the ball the whole damn game. DJ, it could be nice. He could be nice against Atlanta, but they're kind of good against a wide receiver. What did let's see what, because I don't know exactly what Chris Godwin did last week. I know Mike Evans went off. 5 for 6 for 64. Mike Evans. 5 for 7 for 62 and 2 TDs. So if I'm picking out of those two, I got to go DJ over Pickens. Fuck Pickens. I am done with that dude. But the upside on your team is Tank Dell. I'm not telling you to play him, but it might be the week. If you're playing down, if the team you're playing is playing a bunch of bums, it might be the week to test out the waters with Tank Dell because no Nico Collins. I'm just saying. We're going against the Patriots. I'm going to be without Peppers. Gonzalez is probably going to be on Stephon. We're not going to get Joe Mixon back. We might get Dame Pierce back. Got to be the Nico show. I mean, the Tank show. So I like DJ and I like Tank out of the guys on your bench. So I would look towards one of those guys. It's probably DJ. It's probably the better one because the Texans game is also kind of slow and plodding because that's like 38-point total. So it'll be like the first week in 3 weeks that we haven't had a Texans game on the slate that's worth a shit. Yeah, no problem, War Eagle. No problem, bro. Just make sure that just make sure you tell everybody about us. And if you guys are winning, have any of you guys that have been listening and watching us, have y'all been winning? Like, what's your records, man? Like, I want to know. I mean, I'm out here sitting at 5-0, and the only undefeated team in the league in our 14-man league with Brad. Him and I have a game coming up in a couple weeks, but it's getting kind of scary out here. Like I'm out here scared by myself. Smells. I thought I guess you might have not been here when I was talking about it. Let's see. You should start. Start. You gotta start Jordan Love, quarterback, because CJ not gonna need to throw that much. You should start Neighbors if they clear him for sure. I'd start. Let me see, because I want to see what Tennessee. I want to see what Rashad White did last year against Rashad White stats versus. That could be a running game too, though, because they're running out Spencer Rattler. Rashad White is okay against the Saints. Think maybe Tony Pollard might be better against I think the run defense for Indianapolis is not as good as the run defense that the Saints have. Let me see. Yeah. I think it's probably Pollard. So you got tote Brees until he just totally just bums out. Derrick Henry ran all over the fucking Bills. So Brees, if they don't feed him, they're just a failure. So Brees, Pollard, Jordan Love, Brees, Pollard, Neighbors, McBride, of course. DK and man, I think it's either down to BTJ and DJ. Thomas, how many targets did he have last week? 8 targets. Man, his targets is just there, dude. I like BTJ over Deontay, so that's what I would do. Search says you're gonna try Tank Dell. Okay, man, just try that and see what it does. I mean, he's just pay attention to it. Yeah, Chase Brown. I mean, I have to run him myself, but that's because I have to. I just the run defense for the Giants is okay. Like I said, they kind of put Kenny Walker asleep last week. So keep that in mind. And I think that this going to be, if this is it's a 48 point total. So, and it's a 420 start. So it could be one of those games that's full of fireworks, but I don't think I don't know if it lives up to 48 points. Again, I don't really know. But I personally would take a wide receiver over Chase Brown. And just in that case. J Tube says, should I make any trades? 10 man. And a 2-3. I'm 2 and 3. Quarterback is Gino, Daddle, Bucky, and Bijan, and Achan. Trying to pick up B-Rob for Dowdle. I would absolutely get rid of fucking Dowdle for B-Rob. Wide receivers are Debo, Puka, Jaden Reed, MH, Harrison Jr., Wandale, Pickens, Worthy, Bowers, and McBride. Dude, that's pretty stacked. I'd get rid of Pickens if I could. My problem with having any Packers wide receivers, even though that Jaden Reed does kind of have his day sometimes he don't. It's going against the Cardinals, who give up quite a bit. I just don't know. It's hard for me to trust any Green Bay Packers wide receiver. And you don't have like someone else to stack him with. Now that's a little mini game stack within itself, running Marvin Harrison and Jaden Reed. But I think Wan'Dale's got good value because he kind of keeps the targets flowing towards him, even though because obviously the coverage shifts to Neighbors, who's getting a shit ton of targets himself. Reed just hasn't had double-digit targets this season. That's what just scares me. Oh, yeah, he's had 2 games of 139 and 138 with 1 touchdown. But Jordan Love feeds it to everybody. And there's always one of those guys on that team that blows up that week. So they're so week to week. That's what scares me about them. If you could get B-Rob for Dowdle, absolutely. I don't know if you're ever going to get Puka back. That's so up in the air. But I would shop Pickens. If I have to get rid of somebody, I'd shop Pickens. Worthy he's fringe. We thought that he was going to be something, and kind of Juju's kind of cut into everything. Had he caught that reverse or that read option shit that they were trying to do the other night, might be better. But I would try to shop Pickens for sure. I don't like him. If you were here earlier, you can hear my rant. That dude is just, he's doo-doo right now because he can't catch. So I would try. You need a look. Gino had their bye week yet? Can't remember if Seattle has. Trying to keep up with all these damn bye weeks is hard. Geno Smith. Another bye week is week 10. So yeah, keep that in mind. Go out and try to see if you can shop Dowdle for B-Rob, go do it. And then Pickens, try to get you somebody better than that. Keep Worthy, Bowers, and McBride. You're good there, buddy. You could even run McBride and Dowdle. McBride and MHJ in the same lineup. Hell, you could probably run 2 tight ends because Bowers about to get fed. Especially if they get rid of Devontae. Hope to God they get rid of Devontae because they ain't got nobody else to throw the damn ball to. And O'Connell's going to throw the ball to try to keep his damn job. Minshew, I thought he was going to do that, but he don't seem the same with the Raiders that he did, especially with the first 2 weeks and what he did with the Colts last season. So it's weird. Aiden O'Connell does like the tight end as well, though. Apple Cod. Hey, what do you think about this trade? ETN and Madison for Addison and Kareem Hunt. Pacheco could come back on the 20th. I was just said that. So ETN could theoretically be a 3rd down back now. Madison. What is also someone sent me another trade? Jonathan Brooks for Dowdle. And all you have is Madison and ETN? Who else is on your lineup, Cod? Because your running back room looks like my shit does in this 14-man league, but worse. At least I have Saquon Barkley. Oh, you have James Cook, ETN and James Cook. And Dowdle. They're trying to sell Brooks high on you. Which Dowdle was what? What has he done other than last week? Let's see. Yeah, it's 55 fantasy points. So he had 20 attempts against Pittsburgh, 87 yards. And then he had a receiving touchdown. I always had receiving touchdowns in back-to-back games. Obviously, you guys can tell I hate the fucking Cowboys. So I try not to pay attention to anything that they do. Again, if you get rid of Dowdle, that's good because the Lions are going to. I think the Lions are going to put that that run game to sleep, their pass game is where it's at. Like the passing game for Dallas is what's going to be more crucial. But yeah, like you said, he does exactly. Their run game sucks. And then he's not like they're going to get short yardage stuff. It's at the fucking goal line. It's going to Lupke or Zeke. So that's the thing. He's got to catch this going. He's got to catch it as a passing back. I would rather have ETN. I would, yeah. I mean, Brooks would come in and be that guy, but you got ETN and Cooks both have had their bye weeks. I'm pretty sure. I might make that trade. See if he can throw somebody. If he throws somebody else in the pool with you, like something else, something a depth piece, and I would take that. Brooks for Dowdle, or Brooks and a piece for Dowdle. I don't know about straight up though. But yeah, that's what I would do. I would try to get a little bit sweeter product than just Brooks himself. Just for the simple fact of the matter is you want to try to offset your loss. That's what I would do for sure. Try to get you something that's going to offset yourself. But I wouldn't mind getting rid of Dowdle because I just feel like he's going to be like this because Dallas is like this. And at a certain extent, I don't really feel like Dak lets the running backs in Dallas be that guy. And now he can't seem to hit CeeDee Lamb for saving his life. And then you got guys like Jalen Tolbert and Kevontae Turpin, who's taking the ball out of the backfield himself. And that Hunter Lipke is like insane. Every time I see that dude on the field, I'm like, he's going to get the fucking ball. And that's what scares me. I'm just so glad I don't have any investment in Dallas's players because of that. So, yeah. Yeah, you could tell. Well, yeah. Are you a Dallas fan? I hope not. I hope you're not a Dallas fan. But if you are, cheers. I just hope for the best, because I just feel like they're never going to go anywhere, man. I really don't. They win a Super Bowl again in my lifetime, even though they won a couple in my lifetime. I will be surprised. Anybody else got questions? I can hang out. Yeah, no problem, bro. No problem. I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out and asking questions while I'm here running the show solo. The boys out there in Florida trying to hold it down and stay safe because old Milton is lurking and he's about to fuck some shit up. So I hope that if you guys got family and friends out there in Florida, or if you guys are in Florida, y'all stay safe and give them all our love and our best, because I used to live there and dealt with hurricanes. I'm in Houston now and deal with that shit myself. So, I know some people can't get evacuated. Some people can't get out and they got to deal with this. So hope that they're all okay. But yeah, y'all got any more questions? Just shoot them over to me. I got time. What's a game you guys are looking forward to this weekend or something that you guys are invested in the most? What's a game like that? Like, obviously you got tomorrow's game. I really think that's going to be a good game, the San Francisco and Seattle game. But I'm really excited about the battle for Maryland, Washington, and Baltimore. And then I hope that the fucking Lions get their revenge on Dallas over that bullshit call last year where they said that the lineman wasn't a eligible receiver. So I think that's a Oh, I mean, it don't look like nobody else has really got any questions. But yeah, if y'all are here tonight and you brought in questions, what's up, Addicts? What's up, dude? I'm out here running the show solo. Y'all want to you got any small media outlets? Go out and hit the Sports Addict Network up. They are looking for content providers right now. So I saw that on Twitter today. So go out and hit them up. They are trying to grow the brand. We appreciate you popping in, bro. We my out here running it by myself. So you got any games you're looking forward to this weekend? Anything you're looking forward to? No problem, bro. No problem. We appreciate it right back, man. Like we wouldn't be here without you, dog. We would not be. I mean, hopefully we would, but we got we you were a help, a driving force, you know. So we appreciate you and everything that you've done and all the getting the word out and retweeting and liking and posting and everything like that. So but hell yeah, man. But yeah, guys, I hope that you guys are all out there and does everyone like the live? I hope so. I hope they liked it. So, but yeah, so if you guys ain't got any more questions or thoughts, I think I'm gonna hop off here. Running the house solo and running the show solo. So gotta go have uh dad and baby time. My wife got to go back over across the pond to give granddad some of our last love. He will be remembered, and we love that guy. So I appreciate you guys hanging out, and I will catch you all later on. Thanks, y'all. Peace.